guys, Ted from Immersion here, and I'm back with another DM's Guild Spotlight video. As promised, this time we're talking about the Tavern Brawl, I can't say it still, Tavern Brawl Builder by Gene Lorber. This is another best silver seller here, on the DM's Guild website here, and you can see we've got 7 ratings, all 5 stars, with actual comments from people. And a couple of things here. Really, this is a stroke of genius. Gene has taken the old cliche in the book, the tavern and the inevitable brawl therein, and turned into an absolute, unadulterated, unfettered D&D fun. Tony Petrecka, author of the best-selling titles on DM's Guild like Amazing Adventures, and frankly, this is a work of genius. The idea of turning a barroom brawl into a monster in its own right is brilliant, and the system for running encounters against it is inspired. I'm going to be running a lot more games in taverns from now on. This is Chris Bissett, creator of the Emmy-nominated website Loot the Room. Chris also wrote Bulletstorm, which I have reviewed here on the channel before. I've also played it in a more recent episode of my homebrew campaign. It's a little bit tweaked for my game, but nonetheless, very good. So good quality people here saying good things about it. Basically, your tabletop will have many sessions of fun and exciting investigation and problem solving, all while punching commoners in the face. 10 unusual taverns, 10 brawl encounters, or 10 mid-brawl complications. Mix and match these elements for 1,000 unique brawls. So, this is $3.95 here on the DM's Guild. There will be a link in the description. That's the wrong one. But as I state, with all of my content that is paid to view, I will not give you everything, as that discourages you from purchasing it, but I will give you enough of a taste that you will enjoy it enough to want to hopefully pick it up for yourself. Or not, depending on the thoughts. Again, this was gifted to me to do a review, but my review is in and of it myself. My precious. Breathing life into D&D's oldest trope, the Tavern Brawl, weird taverns, and blah, blah, blah. So here we have 3 kind of sections. The rules by which we brawl, build your brawl, and brawl cheat sheets. Same as the last time, we have the kind of text and gray boxes and whatnot. So intro. Tavern Brawl occupies a hollowed space in the lore of D&D, but even though Tavern Brawls have elements of an encounter, the basic unit of D&D adventuring and XP delivery, they might not need to be run in exactly the same way. Unlike most encounters, the stakes in a brawl are relatively low, so from a design standpoint, it seems like a Tavern Brawl and encounters can function a little differently. So, many of these brawls contain plot hooks that could kick off a full-fledged adventure or serve as quick, non-lethal solution for delivering information to NPCs to your players. So, Section 2 describes tweaks to traditional mechanics, and Section 3 gives you encounters in which to apply those mechanics. And then again, stuff we talked about, 10 taverns to brawl in, 10 encounters, and complications. The rules by which we brawl. To embody the spirit of fun of a chaotic fight, the mechanics presented below. So here are some new mechanics. Tweaks to combat mechanics arise from treating the brawl as a single creature. Conceptually, a brawl is more than just the sum of its combatants. Even the brawlers are mere peasants. The maelstrom of swinging fists, flying bottles, and wrestling bodies is a formidable obstacle. Treating the brawl as a single entity also streamlines the flow of combat without limiting players' options. There are 2 levels of brawls, a standard brawl around CR1 and a difficult brawl around CR3. The brawl has hit points like any other creature, however they are slightly more malleable than usual. Any action that could conceivably incapacitate or otherwise remove a combatant could reduce the brawl's hit points. This includes actions that don't cause damage in the traditional sense, like causing brawlers to fall using grease, or stuffing a brawler into a hollow trophy boar's head. For simplicity's sake, any successful action does exactly 5 damage. Any successful spell or action that targets multiple combatants does exactly 10 damage. Moving through the space of a much larger creature is treated as difficult terrain. A PC may end their turn inside a brawl. To keep the dice in your player's hands, the brawl attacks by engaging each PC in a contested skill check. The brawl's result is a static 10 plus ability modifier. The most obvious skill choices are strength, athletics, or dexterity, acrobatics. Switching between these 2 gives a greater variety of classes a chance to succeed. If a PC wins the check, they can take actions freely on their upcoming turn. If a PC loses the check, then they must immediately make a Constitution saving throw, DC noted in the stat block. Succeeding on a saving throw when they've shrugged off the attack and can take action freely on their upcoming turn. Failing the saving throw means they are unconscious for a minute, effectively eliminating them from the brawl. This quick knockout mechanic could be difficult to take for some tough PCs like barbarians, but remind them that, hey, it's just a brawl. The brawl's attacks are quick and simple by design so that the focus can be on the player's actions. Note that a brawl scenario might contain additional creatures adversaries besides the brawl. Unless specifically noted, the brawl and other creatures are run separately, each according to their stat block. And then here's some information on actually running the brawl. So first, select the components of your upcoming brawl: a tavern, a brawl scenario, and a complication. Table 1-3 lists each component for quick reference in case you need to randomly generate your brawl. Next, plan out the experience, fits into your existing campaign, or use one of the many hooks herein to begin a new campaign. When appropriate, begin the brawl with the relevant box text. Here are your major steps. The brawl always acts first in a round, attacking each PC using a contested skill check and a constitution saving throw if needed. The brawler isn't faceless, so feel free to describe the attackers. See the brawl cheat sheet for suggestions. Once all the brawl's attacks are resolved, then it is the remaining player's turn. They may take any actions normally available to them, but see insert below. To encourage them to improvise, include 1 to 2 tavern items per round, or introduce 1 to 2 tavern items per round. The items could just be lying around or even wielded against the PCs. Be generous in your rulings about the player's use of these items to eliminate brawlers. Any PC action that succeeds decreases the brawl's hit points by 5 or 10 if it would target more than one creature. Whether players decide to fight on behalf of one side or another, the mechanics of resolving the brawl don't change. With the PC's participation, win or lose will influence the post-brawl consequences. If so desired, a complication could be added after 2 or 3 rounds. See Section 3. If the brawl's hit points have been reduced to 0, the PCs have won. If all PCs have been knocked out unconscious, the brawl has prevailed. Provide a DM cheat sheet on page 25 can help to keep track of any listed tavern or encounter features, as well as provide inspiration for some brawl NPCs. Over-escalate much. It is the height of poor manners to cast truly damaging spells like Acid Splash or swing deadly weapons in an otherwise casual brawl. Brawlers might quickly decide to gang up on those who use such dangerous tactics, so use your attacks wisely. So here's a gameplay mechanic, and we'll get into some of this. Again, I don't want to give you too much, so we're going to go over this gameplay example, and then we can see a couple tables, and then we might jump on to give you a little bit from each other section, and then we'll call it a day. So, gameplay example. DM. From the far side of the tavern, a refined voice cries out, "I won't believe it." Immediately afterwards, 24 tavern goers rise up from their seats and begin pummeling each other, seemingly at random. A group of wild-eyed brawlers rush over to your table and fling themselves at you. A brawl has begun, and you're all caught up in it. Everyone is surrounded by a mass of swinging fists, kicks, and grabbing hands, so roll an athletics check. Let me know who doesn't beat a 12. Edwina, Herbert and I didn't. Okay, you and Herbert get clobbered by a long-fingered half-orc guard and a greasy dwarf merchant. Make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw, otherwise you're knocked unconscious. The rest of you are good to go on your turn. Herbert, I rolled a 4. Edwina, I rolled 11. Herbert, the half-orc strike hit you right in the chin and knocked you out cold. You're out of the brawl. The fight keeps going around your unconscious body, though. Edwina, you're seeing stars, but you're able to shake off the hit. Everyone besides Herbert, it's your turn now. As you survey the fighting, you see 2 items within easy reach. A turkey leg and a wooden chair. What do? Edwina, who made that comment, the one right before fighting? It came from behind the brawl. Make a perception check. You rolled a 15. You see a wizardly type sitting in a back booth. He's talking animatedly to no one. I think he had something to do with this. I'm heading towards him through the brawl. DM, moving through the brawl is difficult terrain, so you can't quite make it to him this round. Gale, I don't believe I can make use of the turkey leg, so I'm going to protect myself and cast web at the brawl. Anyone in the web must make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw. The brawlers roll an 8 and fail. One grabby gnome dog catcher and a one-legged halfling bard gets stuck to the wall in mid-punch. Your spell affects multiple targets, so the brawl takes 10 damage. I'm an Uthgard. No one's going to out-brawl me, says Leonard. I grab the turkey leg and stuff it down the throat of the nearest opponent. Okay, that sounds like a contested strength, Jake. Yours against the brawls. The brawls result is 12. You rolled an 18, you win. This big-bearded farmer with 4 teeth sputters and grabs at the turkey leg lodged in his mouth. He's out of the brawl, which takes 5 damage. Next round, everyone left standing is attacked, this time by a couple of nimble half-elves. Everyone make an acrobatics check, and let me know who doesn't beat an 11. So you get the point of how the brawl works as a creature in the combat, which is very unique. I have to echo Chris's comments from that we saw earlier on the DM's Guild page. I think this is great. I love the concept of this, And this is the kind of fun thing that my players would really like. Because I'll tell you, maybe this isn't the case for everybody. And again, please speak up in the comments below. But I think these are really fun. Any kind of... So you're already in a Dungeons and Dragons game, right? So you've already suspended your disbelief to play in a fantasy universe with a set of described mechanics and rules that have been thought out and refined in 5 editions and continue to be refined with subsequent releases and errata and whatnot. But anytime you're playing in a game like D&D like this, and you play like a game within a game, or where you flip the mechanics on its head for how the way things normally work, I always feel like players really like that, in my opinion. When you kind of get away from, you're playing D&D, but you're playing something else within D&D, whether it's like a fun little game you made up for fishing, or for chase mechanics, or arm wrestling, or pie eating, or bar brawling. This kind of stuff always gets people really excited. And this is the kind of stuff I wouldn't be surprised if your players are looking forward to the next time this comes up, or something they'll always echo and talk about after the fact. So here's some taverns. Here's some brawl encounters, mid-brawl complications, and items within the bar. So you can see, like, you know, cream pie, full feathered dead goose, and so on. So here's the stuff to build your brawl. We can see, I'm not going to go into all of these. We'll just read the Biting Bard because it's right here. So here's 10 different taverns. The Biting Bard, a crowd-favorite gnomish bard named Flimp, is performing his band of insult-laden storytelling. Think D&D Don Rickles. You, sir, at the bar. Do you walk that way to look tough, or did a goblin bite you in the ass? Sorry. The grumpy Flimp has seen plenty of fights before, and he likes to comment on the action while it's happening. Any natural 20 roll by a player endears an enthusiastic comment from the bard. I like your moxie, kid. Giving that PC advantage on their next roll. Players that sling comments back at Flimp would win him over. After the round of witty repartee, ask the player to make a DC 12 performance check. If successful, Flimp takes a liking to the PC and calls off some of the brawlers. Hey, knock it off. The kid's alright. In this case, reduce the brawl's hit points by 10. The proprietor, G. Two-Bits, a male gnome, charges 1 copper piece to see Flimp's show. He frequently yells at PCs who he believes aren't buying enough drinks. So there's this. There's another 9 other ones. You can see the Frog's Fortunes right here. So we're going to skip through this and keep going past all that to get to Brawl Encounters. So here we can see 10 Brawl Encounters, and we're going to go with any which way but loose, which is the first one here. A traveling minstrel, so let's just read this. 10 encounters are found below. All hooks are Tavern Brawl. Small short stories that inescapably lead to the same place, but the resolution of the fight is up to your players. So, a traveling minstrel's novelty act insults the wrong inn patron. To set the scene, read or paraphrase the following. A large crowd pushes into a room's central table. A gaudily dressed man stands in the front of the chair where sits an ape with a collar and a leash. The barker calls out, "Who among you will kiss the lovely Miss Brenda, and how many will you pay to see this farce?" The crowd of half-drunk revelers hoots and hollers and throws 10 copper pieces on the table. When you're ready to begin the brawl, read or paraphrase the following. One man steps up to the ape, comically closing his eyes and puckering his lips. Right before he lands his kiss, the ape flips over, replacing its face with its backside. The crowd guffaws in delight at the victim sputters and knocks over the ape to lunge at the handler. A brawl breaks out around you as the crowd splits between defending the ape and defending their victimized friend. This is a standard brawl with the PCs caught between 2 groups of tavern goers. Miss Brenda, the ape, scampers up onto a table as soon as the fighting begins, covering her head and whimpering. Sympathetically describe her plight to prompt the PCs to rescue her. A DC 10 nature check convinces the ape to trust the PCs, and she clings to them appreciatively. If the players side against Miss Brenda, they can try to trap her in a cage, which requires 2 checks using either strength or animal handling. Trapping the ape causes some of the offended patrons to disengage from the brawl, reduce the brawl's hit point by 10 hit points. During the brawl, patrons look around nervously, worried that the ape may bite them. Mimicking ape screams combined with a DC 8 performance check will give 2 PCs advantage on their next attack roll against the brawl. Resolutions. The victim and his friends will defeat the ape handler / other patrons unless the PCs fight on their behalf. If the PCs lose, they wake up outside to find one PC being groomed by the ape. The handler left a note. Back soon. Gone to find an ape food. Got to find an ape food called bananas. I guess that's bananas. Whatever, bananas. You know what I mean. The handler returns in 30 minutes. If the PCs win, they can describe the post-ball consequences. If the players wish to steal Miss Brenda, they'll find her a demanding companion. She's used to frequent treats and balks at any underground exploration. Sue does a few rude gestures on command, though. In any case, if the PCs try to protect the ape when the handler offers the PCs 5 gold after the brawl is over, a local druid who witnessed the brawl also stops by, pats a PC on the shoulder, and leaves a potion of animal friendship and 10 good berries with them. So, that was that. We're going to scroll through these here and look for the mid-tavern complications, and then we'll look at the cheat sheet. So, mid-brawl complications. If so desired, a complication could be added mid-brawl that changes the focus of the fight, changing the stakes, or just makes life more difficult for the players. Introduce a complication after 2 to 3 rounds of brawling before PCs take their turn. If more of a challenge is needed, add 2 to the DC to any skill check or saving throw listed in this section. So let's go with Hype the Crowd, because it's right here. A bard and his band are stoking the tavern's negative energy, weaving together frantic music and bardic spells like Vicious Mockery. The result is the formerly defeated brawlers rejoin the fracas. Beginning this round, and for all subsequent rounds, the brawl regains 5 hit points at the beginning of each of its turns. This effect can be negated magically through use of spells like Dispel Magic or Silence, or negated physically by attacking the bard. 2 successful attacks against the bard from Volo's Guide to Monsters are sufficient to incapacitate him. Note that these successes do not reduce the brawl's hit points. And then we'll scroll down and take a look at the cheat sheet here. Brawl cheat sheet for the players. Here's the combat rules. This is great because you can just print this out and hand this to your players. Well, you could just probably, I would say you probably cut this so that the players don't see the items. And then here's the brawl cheat sheet for the DM. And then here's some, which is pretty cool. So here's the tavern. Here's the roll to find some items. And then here's a roll to come up with brawlers. Descriptor like the one-legged half-orc guard with a fancy cape. And then the stats for the different brawls. So that's it, guys, for the Tavern Brawl Builder. I finally said it right. I love this concept. I'm absolutely going to incorporate this into my home game. Maybe as soon as this week. I really like the concept. I'd have to workshop this a little bit to see where I put it. But you can see that the mechanics here are sound and solid. And I don't know. I think, like, again, as been echoed throughout this review, running the brawl as a creature is a pretty cool concept, and adding in the different things to make it more unique. I don't know. I just really like the idea of it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. We're going to go over Volo's Lost Encounters, also by Gene Lorber. So, thanks, guys.